All right, hello there to my trucker friends out there, and if you're an insurance agent, welcome to the channel. I make these videos every now and then just discussing some of the insurance tips or things going on. I know one of the big news of the day is JB Hunt and their thing of taking trucks off of the road and putting them on trains. Come here, Dexter. But let's flip open the book, and in this book I've got um, a couple different pages of ideas that I've been developing over the years. And I like to just pick one and talk about it because everything is ad libbed here and just based on my experience. Sorry about the cat noise. Maybe we'll go over a couple of these. One that just jumped out at me right here is to avoid risk retention groups and non rated insurance companies. Well, the fact of the matter is, sometimes a risk retention group is the best insurance for you. And rating, has to do with the stability or the strength of an insurance company. Rating plays a factor in pricing as well as acceptance of brokers. However, certain states like Louisiana and other states around the country can be quite difficult to find a rated insurance carrier for yourself depending on the type of job you're doing. So in those cases, I would not avoid a risk retention group. And as a matter of fact, I am partnered with several risk retention groups as well as A-rated insurance carriers, B-rated insurance carriers. And as a retail agent, it is my job. And if you're a trucker and you're not my client, it is your insurance agent's job to find the best insurance for you. And if it be a risk retention group, then so be it. If you can avoid a risk retention group, then avoid it. I think if I got two companies, two insurance companies, one is rated and one is a risk retention group, I definitely will try to sell the rated policy and give them both quotes. Sometimes the price difference is $6,000 a year per truck. A risk retention group could be that much cheaper. And so I'll let them know the downfalls of choosing that option. And other times, the risk retention group is the only option, like I mentioned in the beginning of this little splurge. So although I have avoid risk retention groups and non-rated carriers, sometimes risk retention group is the best option for you. So I won't go into too much depth about what a risk retention group is. You can Google that. I'm sure there's hundreds of YouTube videos about that. And oftentimes they're going to say, stay away, stay away. And if you find that you're with the risk retention group and you're watching this video, make sure that they are backed by a rated carrier. So that's the terminology I want you to take to your agent if they're giving you a risk retention quote, risk retention group quote. Is it backed by a rated carrier? So that's an important factor. Another thing in this book that I have here is RMIS delays. If you're a trucker or you're potentially going to be a trucker on your own, you're probably going to cross paths with RMIS. They stand for Registry Monitoring Insurance Services. Now, I started this back in 2011, and really my career started in 2007, but my agency in 2011. So if you take a look at the industry, RMIS has been there since I started, probably well before me. And what they do is they monitor, registry monitor. That's their name, monitoring. What they do is they monitor your company's status with the DOT, with the FMCSA, and your insurance. So they check on your insurance regularly, and they communicate directly with somebody like me, with your insurance agent. So you'll sign up under the RMIS website, Registry Monitoring Insurance Services, and lots of brokers verify that you have insurance using that website. So the delays, that's the note I have in here. Up until recently, RMIS was snap of the fingers and you're good to go. I would say the past year, there have been severe delays with RMIS, and they're getting better as of the last month or two. But a year ago, it was 2 weeks clients were shut down because they would go from like Progressive Insurance. I would have them with Progressive, and they would leave Progressive to go to a different insurance company through me still. And that switch would cause RMIS to have to update their system from Progressive to Canal, or from Progressive to National Indemnity, Progressive to AIG, whatever the case may be. And that switch would take a while and shut my clients down for a significant amount of time. Like I said, sometimes as long as 6 days. RMIS is also very particular about honoring what the brokers are telling them. So I have one client who she was shut down for several weeks, and as we did the investigation on that, we found that she owed like $22 to C.H. Robinson. So C.H. Robinson had her shut down from being able to do any loads for that $22. Come on in. So RMIS has had severe delays, and they do honor what the brokers are saying. So if you're an existing company and you have a small balance with a different broker, you may not get approved with RMIS as quickly as you would like. And let's see. All right, well, there's my wife. But one of the other ones I have is Liberate Yourself. A CDL of 2 years and own a semi. And as a matter of fact, I just got done talking with a gentleman out of Florida, goes by Pito. What's up, Pito, if you're out there watching? But he's starting a trucking company with a box truck and doing that using Canal Insurance. And so as I'm grateful to have him on, he was talking about expanding down the line and getting into a semi instead of the box truck. And I would say that's quite liberating. He and I talked about the reasons why a semi driver might have more insurance opportunities or even better pricing than a box truck. And so, I would suggest that if you're thinking about getting into the trucking industry, that you do get a CDL as quickly as possible. For example, my brother worked for a company, and that company is dissolved at this point. But while they were still going, I told my brother, hey, they'll pay for you to get your CDL and they'll put you to work. So do it, right? And he didn't take advantage of that. The company is shut down now. He's out there doing great in the world. Good to you, Dave. But at that time, I did think it was a way for him to get his CDL without being on his own authority. Somebody like Pito, he might get his CDL and not really be able to take full advantage of it until it's 2 years old, even though he's working with his box truck. My wife walked in straight to cooking. That means she is hungry. All right. 2 types of insurance companies out there. I'm cramming a lot in because they've just been fresh on my mind, and honestly taking the time to make these videos is becoming less and less. But 2 types of insurance companies are out there. That's it. I mean, there's a lot of variables within the insurance companies, but there's 2 kinds. Solution-based insurance, where they're solving a problem, they're finding a solution, and competitive-based insurance. So a competitive-based insurance, they might say, like, what price do we have to beat? What range do we need to quote? And honestly, if let's say I tell them, well, I have a $15,000 quote, they're not going to just come back with a $14,999. They're going to try to beat that $12,000, $13,000, or they'll just say simply, that client, we can't get below $15,000, so stay where you are. So that's a competitive-based market, a competitive-based insurance company. A solution-based insurance company, as I mentioned, is solving a problem. They're finding a solution to something that is making it difficult for you to find insurance. Be it something on your driving record, something on your DOT history, a state that is, has a troubled market. I always go back to Louisiana as being an example. So in those case situations, you might have to find a solution-based insurance. And sometimes you could find a sweet medium of a solution-based insurance that also can act as a competitive-based insurance. And I do represent some of those. I'm just going to shout them out right now. Yeah, I'll shout them out right now. Timber Creek. There's a lot of restrictions with Timber Creek, so it doesn't fit all my truckers. But for somebody less than 300 miles, willing to put a 360-degree camera in their truck, Timber Creek is a good option. Boy, my cat is just going and going. My wife needs to kick him. So another one is, how does the industry keep investors out of trucking? Well, can you let them out? Or give them food, I guess. How does the industry keep investors out of trucking? Well, quite simply, they charge a higher premium. So if you're an investor and you say, well, I've got some money, I don't mind buying a truck and I don't mind putting them on the road. Just beware that the price for you as an investor, which is called a non-driving owner, might be much higher than somebody that is a driving owner. If you own your truck and you have your CDL for 2 years, or you have 2 years experience doing box trucks or hot shots, you will get a much more favorable price than if you, let's say, you have a big old dually and you work at your normal job, but you're like, I never use the dually. Let me get a DOT, let me get an MC number, and my brother wants to drive, so let me put him in the truck. Well, you are a non-driving owner company, and so we'll treat you like as an investor, for example, because you've purchased that truck, that's your investment. You purchased the DOT, the MC number, and the insurance. You've made this investment, but you're not driving. So the industry really kind of pushes those out by charging higher premiums. So they keep investors out of the industry with higher premiums. Let's go back a page. All right. One that is kind of fitting here. I've got my cat, meow, meow, meow. I've got dogs outside that are nice and quiet right now. But a lot of you truckers love your animals. And this is just a little pointer, little hint, a little suggestion, whatever you call it. If you have a dog or a cat, there are YouTube channels, Apple Music channels, any way that you get your music these days, you can type in high separation anxiety music for dogs, high separation anxiety music for cats. So go ahead and let that play throughout the day. It really does help. I mean, when I do it for my dogs during cold weather or hot weather when they're indoors, they snore like babies listening to that music. And you can play it real low or you can play it high, whatever you want. But little pointer, high separation anxiety music for your pets. All right, here's something that's really important. Do you do team driving right now with your company? Or do you think that you'll open up a company and say, you know, 2 of us will drive, we'll use both our logs and we'll get double the money? Well, the truth about team driving is, if you want to follow the rules, if you want to do things the right way, and you're not like trying to be in the gray area, looking for shortcuts. If you want to do things the right way, team driving is categoristically, or is, what's the word I'm using? Not authorized with most insurance companies. Once you've been in business 4 years, 5 years, you've grown to a small fleet of trucks, team driving is much more open. Insurance companies are much more willing to let you do team driving. But in the beginning, you might know several different truckers out there that do team driving. and they figured out how to do it, right? Chances are, if they've been open less than 3 years, their insurance company doesn't know they're doing team driving. They don't really know about it until there's a claim or an accident, somebody's injured, and the insurance company has to do an investigation. At that point, things get kind of sticky when they find out team driving is going on. I don't really want to get in. Well, I'll just tell you, a lot of times they'll cancel the policy, or maybe non-renew the policy, or maybe double the price. Um, I've had clients that need to sign a document that says, I will not do team driving. They don't want to sign it. So I tell the insurance company, they're going to do team driving and they don't want to sign this. Okay, that's fine. The insurance company will just turn around and invoice them for $30,000 extra when the actual insurance policy itself was only $15,000. So now it's $45,000. So it's not necessarily a cancel or a non-renewal, but it does shut down that notion of team driving. All right, last one, so I can get over there and help my wife and kick my cat outside. Let's see. Here's a big one. Google it. You're going to have to Google it because Google probably knows more than I do. It's called CSA 2010. Charlie Sierra Alpha. CSA 2010. And that's the term I want you to Google if you want to learn more about what's going to come out of my mouth right now. What CSA 2010 did was it consolidated the information between all state agencies and the federal government. It was a law. It was put into place shortly before 2010, but fully enacted and really, the infrastructure was really in place by 2010. So what does that mean? Most of you now know that if you get a ticket in Florida, when you're living in Florida and then you move to Mississippi or you move to Colorado, that ticket follows you. That's all part of the CSA 2010 initiative. But that really played a factor in the trucking industry because oftentimes maybe a company would be open in California. Prices were going really expensive, so they just wanted to open up a new DOT and a new MC number in Arizona. Well, CSA 2010 shut that down. It means that any overlapping information, whether it be a VIN, a license plate, a phone number, an email address, a name, a tax ID number, anything that would overlap from the previous DOT would now get highlighted into the new DOT. And what happens to companies that do that? They literally have a symbol of a rat. So if I type in, hey, what's your DOT number? And you give me the DOT number, it will show a picture of a rat, literally, on the screen. And that is a reincarnated carrier. That's another subject that I'll get into in another video, but all of that became possible by CSA 2010. So before my cat goes too crazy, I'm going to end this video now. I'm sorry you've had to endure all these background noises, but it's life, right? I'm sure you're watching this video with kids running or lizard lots knocking, whatever the case may be. But I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Lots going on in this video, so watch it again if it went a little too fast, or if something in your memory, you want to go back to it and learn a little bit more. Go back in the video, Google the topics. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Oh my goodness. Okay, go outside. Oh, no. You want to go outside? Come on.
Please, get rid of him.
Go. Hurry up. Lettuce.